I suck at PvP. So we're gonna change that. This video is it was highly inspired by this video made by MysteryOre. If you're enjoying the video, leave a like and subscribe. It really helps my content reach other people who will enjoy my content as well. There are several different skills that I will train in for 1 week, and after that 1 week, we'll measure the growth. There are 4 core skills MysteryOre has highlighted in their video. 1. CPS, which if you're not a pro gamer means clicks per second, hotbar switching, bridging, and aim. Because I'm newer to the game, in addition to MysteryOre's training regimen, I'll be adding a few basic skills that I should know, but was too incompetent to learn. I've prepared a shooting gallery and the grasslands. All animals fear the grasslands. First thing to do is get a baseline for all my skills, going down the list. For CPS, I've set it to 5 seconds and clicked as fast as I could. Let's go. Okay, so we have 7 clicks per second, which is pretty decent. They're calling me slow, okay? But I think 7.2 seconds is like pretty good. I think it's gonna be pretty hard to show improvement for that, but we'll see what we can do. Turns out I was right. For the rest of the day, it was hard for me to get above 5 clicks a second. Since I've already had speed on my side, we've decided it like this. 3 10-second bursts, 3 30-second rounds going for a little bit longer, and 3 60-second rounds that made me really push my limits when it came to endurance. Legit, my hands were cramping after just a few minutes of clicking. Next is hotbar switching. Sadly, up until now, I've been the type of person to use my scroll wheel. And yes, I'm aware of my disappointments in the Minecraft community. In MysteryOre's video, he had this fancy contraption that I tried to copy for about an hour, but couldn't. Like, I really tried to look at this thing from every single angle and try to reconstruct it, but I just couldn't understand the redstone. So I just looked up a tutorial, and it doesn't look as good, but functions in basically the same way, releasing 1 of 9 colors of wool that will fall into one of the hotbar spaces, in which I will switch to it using the proper key. I timed it, and it legit takes 15 minutes to empty this whole thing completely. Me sitting here for 15 minutes just clicking buttons. On day 1, I was just focused on changing the controls to keys I could reach, which itself was hard to figure out and not get confused. Then did 3 at a time to familiarize myself with these new keys. Then there's bridging. By the end of the week, I will have practiced 2 different bridging techniques, straight speed bridging and diagonal speed bridging for 30 minutes each, adding up to about an hour of just bridging. If you've ever watched one of my Bedwars videos, you know I suck at bridging. So for the first day, I just spent time familiarizing myself with the timing for regular bridging before moving on to the diagonal bridging. For aim practice, I used the same application MysteryOre used called Aimbeast. Oh, wait, this thing costs actual money? Whatever. I tried to find the games played in the video, so the levels we have here can be separated into 4 subcategories. The first one practices tracking. So for 5 minutes a day, this tiny ball will be trying to juke me like the freshmen in the hallway that think they're cool, but just look stupid. Already, this one was pretty easy, but there's always room for improvement. At times, this one would just sit still, so I did find one that was pretty similar, and I did both during this whole thing. The second one trains you in being able to go from one target to another, which is really helpful when I have multiple people rushing me at a time. This almost never happens to me, but why not? The third one is more flick training, but this is way harder than I thought. No joke. Not only do you have to put your cursor on this tiny little dot, but you have to click it before it disappears and moves to the next spot. This is when I realized I had to turn my sensitivity up. The last one, and my personal favorite, you have to click the scores as quickly as possible, and your score is determined by how many you click in a set time. I'll be doing each of these games 5 times each, since the timer per session is about 1 minute, for a total of 20 minutes on Aimbeast. Now for my additions to the program. The most useful thing here is the little shooting gallery. Before filming this video, I had never shot a bow in Minecraft. This skill will be useful, especially for fighting the Ender Dragon, as well as in PvP. For the first 2 days, I practiced shooting these targets as they got further back until I could get a bullseye for the first time. But having a still target isn't really realistic in Minecraft, is it? I upgraded this in a way you'll see in just a minute. The last on the agenda is the grasslands, in which I practiced the perfect timing to get critical hits on these poor animals at a consistent rate. The only big factor in this one is swinging before I hit the ground. At first, my reaction time was really slow, so I didn't hit it most of the time, but I really think Aimbeast really came in clutch here. Also note that the first world I created got ruined because I used it on the wrong version, so I had to recreate the world, but everything basically stayed the same. As much as I want to analyze the data for each day, we'll focus on the big changes that I made during the course and the results afterwards. Day 3 had the biggest changes. I had basic bridging down by day 2. It wasn't the best, but I did get across the 28 block wide gap and eventually the 51 block wide gap. It's not the most efficient way since going back at a diagonal is quicker than going straight back, but at the moment this is all my fingers can handle. For a second, I got distracted by the fact that I could do this. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. And then just watch this. Like, what was I doing? In addition to my 30 minutes straight bridging, I incorporated diagonal bridging and started playing some solo Bedwars. While doing daily rounds in my PvP practice world, practicing new hotbar buttons, shooting targets, and slaughtering pigs, I did 2 other things. 1, I went to the nether with all diamond armor and a diamond axe and a shield to fight withers. Why am I doing this if I'm practicing 1.8, you may ask? Well, I'm not just doing 1.8. It's never good to be a one-trick pony, so I decided to learn the timing of using a shield. 2nd, I started shooting the animals and mobs with my bow as well, so that I could try to hit a moving target. Also, on day 4, I was slaughtering chickens and almost killed one, but I felt bad about this one, so I put a leash on him and named him Bear. Don't ask, I just did. Also called a zombie villager for practice, since apparently they have really good traits, but I couldn't figure out how to heal him properly, so if you know how, please leave it in the comments. Day 5, I got my first solo Bedwars bed and kill on stream. Twitch.tv/cyphers_. They're so close, they're so close. Oh my gosh, we did it, we did it, we did it! Oh my gosh! I killed them! I did that! And surprisingly, I was on 1.16 when it happened. This is because I couldn't switch the versions on stream, but I got a kill nonetheless. Now on to day 7. For CPS, it stayed about the same for the 5-second dash, but every other time, it changed drastically. On day 1, I was barely above 5.8 seconds for the 30-second one. But now, I'm at 6 clicks a second. For the 60-second long one, I was barely staying above 4, and now I'm at least 5.5 seconds constantly. For the hotbar, considering I used to use my scroll wheel, and now I know all of my new overcomplicated controls, I'd consider this one a win. Same thing for bridging. Before, I would constantly hold shift, and even then, I'd still fall because my pinky muscles weren't strong enough to hold it. And look at me now, able to use my bridging in full-on games. For Aimbeast, seeing the numbers is just incredible to me. I don't know what they mean, but the difference between day 1 and day 7, you can definitely see the improvement. Tracking, boom, look at the increase. Target switching, you can even see the difference, but here are the scores anyway. This little dot, I used to hate doing this minigame, but my gosh, that is over a 100-point difference. Even for the boxes, I thought I was doing good before, but the speed here is immaculate. Seeing all this, it was finally time for me to tackle solo duels. But even after all that, I still couldn't win. If you know why, please help me out in the comments. I tried 1.16.5, I tried 1.8.9. I thought, was it my mouse not picking up my clicks? But if the CPS test can pick it up, then Minecraft can pick it up too. Maybe it's the lag from my $300 box computer that's barely running 30 frames per second. Why couldn't I hit? Why? Am I really just that bad? To be honest, I'm not really that pressed about it. I was thinking about trying to make leaderboard, but did you see them numbers? We all know that you're here for my personality and not quality gameplay, cause